Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Okay, for today's topics, and I've got my head in the way, let's have a quick look. Your comments about HobbyKing, so you'll find out about that in a moment. The Maiden of the GTFO OCD model, that went really well. Oh dear, right. Topic number 3. And if you haven't seen the video, I'll put a link to it in a minute. That went really well. It is Maiden Day. Technically we've got 2 Maidens today. You'll find out what those are, and there is a third one which I'll get some video footage of as well. And it hasn't been, well, it's been Maidens and I've flown it loads. So you'll find out what the one which I've flown it loads already is in a few moments time. And topic number 4 is, I'm just adding number 5 in because that one is a bit of a surprise. A mini vote on the best model of 2016. So I will be putting up, I'm going to put forward 4 models as the best models of 2016. Now there's a few caveats to that, and we'll get to what those are. And topic number 5 is a little bit of a surprise for you as well. Now, topic number 1. What I would like to do is actually just run down your comments from yesterday's RC Coffee Chat, because there were over 100 replies about HobbyKing yesterday, and I feel it's important because you invested time in replying to me, so I'd like to return the favour back to you as well. Now, there are a couple of new comments, and I will get back to those in a few moments, but I've been through and replied to each of them individually. So if you did leave me a comment yesterday about HobbyKing, then if I haven't already, I will be back in touch with you. So I did pin Bruce's up at the top. So Bruce came back with, I suspect the fiasco around their website upgrade probably forced a lot of people to look elsewhere for products, and having found other suppliers, they may be slow to return to HobbyKing. Now I think that's actually a valid point. Because the HobbyKing new website, I'm not going to use the word upgrade, change was actually a little bit ad hoc. There wasn't much warning on that actually happening, and it did take several days, and there was a discount code available when it was back up, but nobody could use it because nobody could actually get on their site. And yeah, that would have forced a lot of people to look elsewhere. Bruce also did notice my point around the affiliate schemes is probably a valid one. I do actually feel that is quite a valid point around affiliate schemes. Like I said yesterday, as a content producer to you, there is no incentive at all for me to promote any HobbyKing products at all. And of course, remember, that is just not myself. That is everybody across the board. Remember, even the buddy code scheme has now been disappeared from the HobbyKing site. So I do feel that that is also an important factor. That's why I also mentioned it yesterday. And Bruce then goes on to say his last experience wasn't that flash around getting some of his credits back. Moving down, the Kester says, is HobbyKing really that bad? Yes, never again. So unfortunately, one customer has there been scorned by HobbyKing. But by the way, I'm going to go for a couple of these, but the general consensus wasn't as perhaps as negative as perhaps was what I was expecting. I was pleasantly surprised that the amount of people who still buy from HobbyKing, and generally speaking, there are a few negative ones in here, which I'm sure there's bound to be. Of course, many of us have bought from HobbyKing and have had mixed experiences, but generally it was kind of positive. I felt people had bought and found items which they like, and again, the Turnigy batteries and the graphene batteries came up numerous times from your comments. And let's have a look at Andrew's comment on there. Banggood and GearBest sort of problems once are explained going on with a picture and video. Every time I place an order on HobbyKing, I get a sinking feeling in my gut to wait to see if the thing will turn up, and if things do go wrong, it will be a long uphill battle. Now, to be honest, I don't have an issue with HobbyKing orders getting here. Yes, that order which I put in yesterday, Many of you know from yesterday morning I was up for about 30 hours and I went to sleep, and it wasn't until about 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon when I put the order in, and it hasn't been dispatched yet. But is that their fault? No, it's my fault for being up so late and sleeping for the fair chunk of the day. Moving on, let's have a quick look. Wayne says, morning Matt, yeah, the little race quad. Yeah, by the way, it was thumbs up about the race quad. So quick look down there, moving down. Yeah, see if you can run it on 2S. I'm not too sure those ESCs will cope with 2S. And also, to be frankly honest, Camel, those little motors should be extremely pokey with 10,000 kV on them. They are going to be bonkers. Like I said, there are a few comments which I've not been caught up on yet. I will do in there. Nathan says, I think it depends on where you live. I love HobbyKing, and I always get fast shipping and good customer service. Banggood, I always have had really bad customer service, and everything takes weeks, if not months, to get delivered. Did I mention how bad their customer support is? Yeah, it is kind of a mixed bag with Banggood. Generally, I've not had an issue. In fact, there's a prime example of what I'm wearing right now. And by the way, today is a flying day, but it is going to be a bit of a burr one because everything is white and crispy out there, hence I've got a coat on. But coming back to my point is that I did order this puffer jacket thingy first time around. It turned up and it was far too small, and I ordered the large. And anyway, they sent like the 3XL, and I'm not that fat. And we shot them a message, and it did take about 2 days to sort out, but they sent me out a replacement. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with the other one? You can have it back. So they sent me a larger one, and this one fits really, really nicely. In fact, it fits so well, I put it underneath my other coat as well. Happy days. So, yeah, personal experience with Banggood has been all around pretty damn positive. And, yeah, but you're right. It does take a while to get here. Now, on average, it's 7 to 10 days for Banggood orders for me here in the United Kingdom. GearBest has been a real mixed bag. I've had items which have arrived ridiculously quickly. I mean, like 4 days, which was so weird. But they are more like 14 days to get to me here in the United Kingdom. And I'm thinking about the FMS Edge 540. That was about 2 weeks as well. And the box was so big that I'm sure the Yodel delivery driver could not lob it at the door. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, there was a good comments about the micro quad in there. Let me just scrolling down. Yeah, Travis. Travis, you're not the only person to write a massive reply and then screw it up. Yes, I buy from HobbyKing. I want cheap, fun crap. I take the risk, the same as Banggood and GearBest. I just wish shopping on Hobby Bulls was easier. Their website sucks. There's an online store. What is your problem? And they should have an affiliate program. Now, that's actually a curious one. What I noticed yesterday, and it was only because I was hunting around for other items to add into the order, is that HobbyKing have actually lost the ability to find sell items. So remember that Hummer 3D? That was on sale, and I only found it by accident by trawling through other items. So a little bit of feedback for HobbyKing. Give us the ability to sort by items on sale, whether that is a search filter, which is you use an item specific for that, or maybe a dedicated category to put all the models which you have on sale into them. Moving on, Keith, it says HobbyKing is expensive and bloody confusing postage costs. Yeah, now, I didn't realise how much. I've heard other people mention around that about shipping costs. Now, I only found that out when I had to order 2 Texumos separately because the box size had got too big. But then the Texumos aren't that big, and that was all from the European warehouse here into the United Kingdom. Sputnik says, morning Matt, I have a feeling that HobbyKing are going through a long dark tea time of the soul. They used to be very prolific with their YouTube uploads and were very competitive on price. Their regional warehouses were nearly always stocked as their Hong Kong warehouse. In the last 6 months, I've seen the main promotional material coming from Australia promoted items. Where is the point I picked up in here? Yeah, no store is perfect, and sometimes orders are mixed up. They arrive faulty, etc. But out of all the suppliers I've dealt with, HobbyKing is the only one which I've been forced to open PayPal disputes with and notice the plural. Now, actually on the flip side, this is one of the important things for us as consumers, is that even PayPal gets a bad rap from time to time, but generally I do use PayPal for everything which I purchase, and I know in the back of my head that if something does go Pete Tong, is that we can put a PayPal dispute in, and you can also ring them up and go through their process, and there is somebody on the end of the line to help you with your challenges. And yeah, so Nidge, thank you for that point. That was a valid point in there. Jay says, all I buy from HobbyKing is the Turnigy Graphene 4S 3065C batteries. Yes, Jay, I expect that you're on Knife Flyer, and they are really, really good batteries. And the only reason I didn't buy some of those is because mainly I don't fly quads. If I did, they would be right up there on my purchase list. And to be frankly honest, I was kind of happy with those Turnigy A-Spec batteries, which I bought cheap, I think £5.19 each over Black Friday, along with the the quad core battery charger. Absolutely fantastic, really impressed with that, but wasn't cheap by any means, and I should really stick that in the list to review. Let me just put that in, quad core charger, and remember, no edits in these episodes at all. Now, I could go on and go for all these, but like I said, generally the feedback was positive about HobbyKing, but the realization is now that there are other sites out there which stock similar or the same models and components available to us. So yeah, really HobbyKing is needs to up their gear, up what they're doing now in 2017, because the outside world is really catching up with them. So if you did leave a comment and I didn't cover it today, I would like to personally say thank you, and you'll see that I've been through and I've replied to 90% of the comments in there. The ones which I've missed, I will catch up after I've finished editing this episode. So that was topic number 1, and I'd just like to say thank you. I really do appreciate that. Right, on to the second topic, the Maiden of the GTFO. Let me just go and find that a second. That'll be on my channel. Click on there. If you haven't seen this yet, it went kind of well. So that little foam board model, I didn't really check the CFG, and it was grossly nose heavy to say the least. And I won't tell you what happens, but that little icon there will kind of give you an indication of where it ended up. So I will do a bit more work on that one. Unfortunately, I did lose the push rod for the rudder down in some... When I landed it again after I'd finished recording, I did manage to land it in some ferns, and I've lost the push rod. So I will go out and have a hunt for that later to see if I can find it. But it does show great promise. Well, number one, it flew. That's always a big surprise to me for a piece of foam board. And let me just go and grab her a sec. So it wasn't tail heavy, grossly tail heavy. And let me just show you on the camera. Is that I've been and cut out a load of holes on the back to try and get some weight out, because unlike you guys which are based in the US, the foam board which we get in the United Kingdom is ridiculously heavy in comparison. So yeah, we'll get that one out. I'll have a play with that one. It's just a CG issue, and I'm sure I can trim even more foam out of that one. So generally surprised about that one. Now on to Maiden Day. Now I gave you a hint that the weather was a bit nippy here in the United Kingdom, and it's apparently about -2 out there. Now we're on the outskirts of Bristol, so it's probably more like -4 or -5. Everything is rock frozen white out there at the moment. The grass is really crunchy on the way out to the office, so it's not particularly nice. But it is the best day which we've been and had in a long time, and that then means that it's a Maiden Day. If we have a look, there's hardly any wind out there at all. So I have 2 models to Maiden today. The first one is that I've finished the new Hornet FPV flying wing. We've got a video transmitter in there now. I've hooked up with an FPV camera on the front. That is the £12 one from Banggood. I mentioned it a short while ago. I will do a setup episode on that one, because while I was looking for a camera to stick in this one, I found one which hadn't been set up yet, which is fantastic. Means that I can do a little mini review on that, because that is like this hidden gem on Banggood, because it only costs 12 quid. You will need to buy this little board which costs 3 quid, but it's absolutely fantastic. It will do, it handles light really, really well, and if you are on a budget, then It's perfect. And again, I didn't put a run cam one in here because of the ones with the run cams which I've got, they're all dedicated for, they're all already earmarked. In fact, I'm short by about 3 for some of the new models, because if you think about it, I've got, what is it, the Wombat, we got the Twin Zoo, we got the 48 and the FG36, all in progress, well, kind of in progress at the moment. So yeah, cheaper options, happy days. And again, if we have a dodgy landing with that one, and that camera breaks like I did with the Skyshadow in a tree a couple of weeks back, then I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. If I blew it up like the Eagle, I would be really pissed over myself. Oh, and the other model which goes out to get Maiden today is the FMS 540. This one finally does get Maiden today. I did last night record a overview episode to the things which I really liked about this model, and also the things which I didn't like about this model. And the things which I didn't like about this model were very, very minor, and yeah, all in all, fantastic. The only mod which I had to make was in the battery bay, and that involved cutting a bit of foam out so that I could get my huge, great big batteries in there. I will be taking 5 batteries for this one, so we should get a decent amount of airtime with this one today. And I will also be taking my Hammer 3D so I can get all my stupid stuff out of the way first before taking this one up for a Maiden. And I will be practicing or refreshing my landing abilities before I go and fly this one. So yeah, it will all be in, like I'm sure as you already know, landings are actually really straightforward. It's the same through going through obstacles like trees, for example, because it's all in the preparation before you go into the obstacle or before you come into landing. So this one I will be swinging a epically large circle around on and preparing the landing from miles back to ensure that we bring it down in one piece each time. And I'll also keep her up nice and high. So I am going to give you an apology in advance, though, when we get some video footage from the flight line, is that on her Maiden and probably a couple of her subsequent flights as well, she will be flown high just in case she has some nasty characteristics like dropping a wing or something like that. Is that I do need it high, not only for this, well, mainly for the safety of the model, and mainly also down to my inexperience of 3D over the last couple of months. So like I said, I will be taking the Hummer 3D with me as well. Next topic is a mini vote. Now, I am going to propose 4 models, perhaps the 4 best models to be released in 2016. Now, I did mention there is a caveat to this, which is the HobbyKing Tundra technically was released last year, but I only started flying in March, and I've not included that one in there because as much as I'd like a Tundra, I still refuse to pay £150 for it, or plus. So yeah, that said, we have 4 models, and I'm going to put a vote up in a few moments' time, and I'll also put the vote in the Facebook group as well, so you do get the opportunity to vote twice if you feel that passionately about one of these models. So we're going to go through 4 models right now, and I'd like for you to vote which model you feel was the best model to, and again, new model to be released in 2016. And tomorrow we'll count the votes up and see which model won. So the first model is the Reptile Skyshadow. Now the reason why this one, and again I'll explain to you what I feel this one's worthy of being in this vote, is because I absolutely smashed this model, and I went out with the sole purpose of not doing a boring review on another model, and I purposely stuck at throttle, that hand, on full pelt, and absolutely came the living daylights out of it. And yeah, unfortunately we did have a bit of an accident with the tree when I was trying to go through on 4S, but it stood up to the abuse. In fact, Craig flew it last week, and yeah, 2 trees with it, and it developed a new crack, which to be honest was probably already there before. So the Skyshadow, an absolutely fantastic model, very, very predictable in the sky, and tough as old boots. It is molded EPP, and it is extremely tough. I broke that model because I was doing stupid stuff with it. And to be frankly honest, Dead Man's Arm, I was due for a few unscheduled landings in that because I had been taking the P with that tree, or both those trees, quite frequently for the last couple of months. So I would like to put that model forwards as perhaps one of the best models to be released of 2016. The next one is the C1 Chasin. Now, the reason why I'm proposing this one as being perhaps the best model of 2016 is because it fits that happy medium between the Wing Z84 and the FX61 Phantom. I love the Wing. I've got two here at the moment, and one of them I need to get back and do some work on. They're a bonkers little model, but they are rather small. And then the Phantom FX61. Unbelievable model. That is my favourite model for flying around in. It's just a big floaty model. And what was missing was the C1 Chaser, because it's this halfway house between the Wing Z84 and the FX61. It's got a decent sized battery bay in there. You can fit decent components in it. It is pretty damn aerobatic, as I'm sure many of you remember the Maiden for that one. I ended up just going up to high rates and spinning it around and having a generally good laugh with it. Really nice model, and the primary reason why I'm suggesting this model as perhaps one of the best models of 2016 is because it fitted that missing gap, and the missing gap was between the Wing and the Phantom. Great model. The other model which I'd like to put forward is the Micro Skyhunter, and the reason why I'm putting this one forward is because personally I'd seen these being released, but I refused to pay the really high shipping for them, and say from the US with the Nano Skyhunter for example, and then they came out on Banggood and they were really kind of expensive. Well, I felt it was expensive for the model itself. And those of you which don't know the actual story is that I discovered that you could buy these parts for about, let me get this right, $44.85 or less, because there are discount codes out there for parts on Banggood. And then I bought the 4 parts. So I bought the wings, I bought the tail booms, I bought the fuselage and the elevator fin, which, by the way, these parts do. So the tail booms do come pre-glued, the same as the fuselage as well. It was a very simple build, and I've had really good fun with that model. I've spanked the living daylights out on it. We had the 4S race, for example. That was mad. That one on 4S trying to keep up with a Skyjet. What was it? A Skyfun jet, whatever it is. Yeah, it held its own, and granted that Dave could pull away, but he was still having to using like 75% prol to try and keep up with that thing with a smaller battery, a much smaller motor. Unbelievable little thing. So I would like to put forward the Micro Skyhunter, mainly because it suddenly got a lot cheaper. Like I said, $45 or less. You can have all the components, and again, that obviously doesn't include servos, ESC and things like that, because I assume that you've got those parts available to you. Fantastic little model. I've had so much fun with that little model. And again, like I said a couple of episodes ago, I have been and rebought all the components because this one is really starting to show signs of wear. But I say that, I've just stuck a bit of glue in the nose and fixed one of the ailerons, but it's still going strong. But I do see that there will be a time in the future when I'll do something stupid with it, or have Branch just appear in front of me on the goggles. And frankly speaking, I'd be really upset if I smashed that one up. So I've ordered the parts again. And the last one for the best model to be released in 2016 is the HobbyKing Excalibur. Now, if none of you have seen this on the flight line, you may or may not have heard of How to Train Your Dragon, and you know Toothless, the black dragon, and he comes in, he goes and swooshes through. That is Toothless. Unbelievable model. Now, personally, I'm never going to pay £162 for that model because I don't feel that I just don't feel that that model would last me personally. Is because it is a fast model, and I would fly it to its limits and beyond very, very quickly. And actually, let me rephrase that. I would fly it beyond my limits very quickly, and that would involve that would then end up in sad times. So, but with that said, Dave's got one of these, and it is absolutely bonkers, and I mean bonkers, ridiculously fast, and the noise it makes in the sky is just so addictive. You're on the flight line and you can just hear Toothless, and that's what I've named Dave's Excalibur. It just comes in, wow, unbelievable model. So those are the 4 models which I would like to put forward as the best models of 2016. Now, I do know that there are probably lots of other models released in 2016, and you probably also have your favourite too. If one of those 4 models was not your favourite model of 2016, please do pop a vote in, but also do let me know what your favourite new model of 2016 was, and you can do that in the comments section underneath this episode. So there is a vote coming up, and now in the top right hand corner, which I think is that side, is that there's going to be a little icon pop up there. Click on that and then you'll be able to make your vote, and I'll also make the vote available in the Facebook group too. So do place your votes, and tomorrow we'll count them up, both the votes on here on YouTube and also the votes over on Facebook as well, and then we'll count them up and then we'll declare which model was the winner. So to quickly recap, the Skyshadow, tough as old boots. The C1 Chaser filled that missing gap. The Micro Sky Hunter, absolutely mental little model, can be really ridiculously overpowered, and it also just potters around brilliantly. And finally, the Excalibur. So if you haven't voted yet, again, I hope it's up there in the top left hand corner, click on the little eye icon and then do place your vote on which model you feel was the best model of 2016 out of those 4 anyway. And if you've got a new model which I didn't include, please do let me know in the comment section underneath this episode. And the last topic for today is simply a surprise. Remember that micro quad which I mentioned yesterday? Banggood have been back in touch. It's on the way to me, and assuming that it's one piece, we'll do a little mini competition once we've got it. Well, again, once after we've flown it and done a review on it, and then it'll be given away. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but it will be given away. So thank you for everybody who voted for it yesterday to say, yes, Matt, go for it. Not only here on YouTube, but also on Facebook as well. And it's going to be given away. So it got given to me for free. So let's give it away for whatever reason. I work out what exactly I'm going to do with that yet. So that will be given away free as a competition, and I will send it anywhere in the world as well. So don't think you oh, Matt, I'm in on New Zealand, you'll never send it to me. No, anywhere in the world, doesn't matter. We'll give it a little whirl around, and then we'll do a competition on it, and it could be yours. There we go. So that's my little surprise for today. So to quickly recap today's RC Coffee Chat. In fact, it's time to pause for a moment. Your comments about HobbyKing, which we saw yesterday, which we had yesterday. Thank you for everybody's input on that one, and I'm sure there's going to be even more comments over time on that video as well. So like I said, if you have left me a comment I've not personally replied to you yet, I will get around to that as soon as I can. The Maiden of the GTFO OCD model. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, I'll put that in the end cards on the end of this video. Yeah, do go and watch that. It's kind of hilarious. And by the way, it's only 1 minute 20 seconds long. And Maiden Day for the new Hornet and the FMS Edge 540. Today is the day which I've been waiting for, but it's gonna be colder than a witch's wingtip out there today. Good job I got my transmitter mitt with the heaters in. Brilliant. And then the other topic which we had, the best model of 2016. So is it the Skyshadow? Is it the C1 Chaser? Is it the Micro Sky Hunter? Or is it the Excalibur? You place your votes, and if you haven't placed your vote yet, in the top left hand corner, and again I'll do that, there you go, that corner, press the little eye icon, place your vote, and then tomorrow we'll count those votes up and see which one was the winner of the best model in 2016. And finally, that last little surprise, yeah, Banggood are sending that little 1S quad, that racing quad, for a review. Once we've been and done the review and got some flight time with it, then I'll do a competition, and whoever wins it gets it. No matter where you are in the world, we'll get it boxed up, super well boxed up. And again, this is assuming that it stays in one piece, which it should do, I hasten to add, and we'll get it sent out to you wherever you are in the world. So on that note, for myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. And it's actually getting warm in here now. Happy days. And on that note, I really am going. I'll see you again about the same time tomorrow. Cheerios!